How much to charge as a construction contractor is one of the most common issues faced by folks who are just starting out. You don't want to overbid and risk pricing yourself out of a job, but underbidding is just as problematic, since you could end up losing money even if you do win. Here are 3 main factors to consider when pricing a job. To figure out how much of each material you'll need, you'll perform a takeoff on digital blueprints. Depending on your trade, you might do counts or measurements. With the right tools, this complex step can be simplified from a days-long process to a few hours. A pre-construction platform like Stack can also apply items and assemblies to your takeoffs, generating an itemized estimate of materials and quantities needed. To help determine material pricing, Stack integrates with top tools to provide regional prices for a clear estimate of what your cost will be. Take into consideration your skill level and how long it would take you to complete a task under ideal conditions. From there, you can determine the labor rates of your crew. If you have expert laborers with many more years of experience than yourself, you can expect them to take less time to complete a task, but you'll also pay them higher wages for that expertise. To determine salary, examine job postings in your area and ask other contractors. The opposite goes for newbies who are learning on the job. They'll take much longer to finish the work, so estimate accordingly. Aside from crew skill level, think about factors such as working conditions, tight spaces, extreme temperatures, or projects with complex or unclear specs. These types of situations can tax workers much more than ideal working conditions would, so your rates should increase to compensate for added physical discomfort or mental work. Never assume that your costs are only associated with the job you're bidding. In addition to materials and labor, you have a company to run. So, you've got to account for all of your other costs that add up over the course of a year and factor those into your prices. Do you rent office space? Do you have office staff using computers and software? What about your equipment used out in the field? All of these and much more are overhead costs that need to be included in your bids. Figure up all of your business expenses from the past year and new ones expected for the year ahead. It might be helpful to work with a tax professional, accountant, or business consultant to make sure you have a strong grasp of your overhead costs and how to divide them up amongst bids, as well as examining ways to reduce those costs. When you know your overhead costs, you can then use Stack to easily account for them in your estimate. Get started today at stackct.com.